Let's go back to United States. For any of those addresses that are in the state of Maryland, we do require that you add the county for tracking purposes, and also for those that select Montgomery County as your primary address, you will see that you will be notified that you may be eligible for the local business preference programs. Fax number, toll-free number, if you have, but not required, just click add. Contact name. Mobile number, fax number. As you see, the email will populate from the initials page. Click add. Okay, your registration information is now here. So this is where, as I notified, if you select a Montgomery County as your county of address, you will be notified that you may be eligible in one of the Montgomery County local business programs. You can click here, but that's the same as set class. This is just your notification. If you do not have a business classification or special program in which your company participates, you can just continue on and select the agencies. But since we're going to kind of go through the process, I want to show you under business classification, which is a 100% optional registration information. So when you go into your update business classification, you'll have a couple options here. Your local business programs, which will be a local small business and a local business preference program. Your green business certification program. So just to let you know, Montgomery County does certify local businesses. So you will go in and complete the application. And once the application is complete, it will go to the program manager and the auditor to review for completeness, and they will request supporting documentation. The Green Business Initiative programs, you have to be pre-certified through the certification process. So when you come in to submit your certification, you will be requested to provide the actual information for that Green Business Certification program. And your minority female disabled programs, these are all accepted agencies. Montgomery County does not certify MFD programs, minority female disabled programs. They only accept certifications from these pre-approved certifying agencies, which are inclusive of MDOT, City of Baltimore Minority and Women's Business Opportunity, Capital Region Minorities Supplier Development Council, Women's Business Enterprise National Council, and the federal SBA 8A program. When you come through, this is where you would select whichever program you have already pre-certified. You are certified and it's active, and you would just add your details down below, and Montgomery County will go through that program to ensure that your certification is current. And we'll walk through that step. But let's go to the local business program here. We're going to kind of go into the program, and you have options to which programs are allowed. You have the LSBRP, the local business preference program. So within the application process, you will have the option of going to one or the other. So if we're going to certify, come in, select what most matches your company's business type. Then answer a couple simple questions. Are you a broker? No. Independently owned and operated? Yes. Subsidiary? No. Located in Montgomery County? Yes. Is it Is the county business location a residential address? Yes is accepted, but you will have to provide additional supporting documentation of your business, your home business office. So we'll come in, date of inception, click next. And here's where you will come to the fork in the road for which program you would like to register. For the local small business certification program, you have to provide financial details to ensure that you meet the criteria for the local small business. The requirement is, I don't know the specifics off the top of my head, but is there a number of employees that for a service industry, I believe is possibly 100 employees maximum and $10 million annually, but it's averaged over the previous 3 years of gross sales. So number of employees, we'll say this is okay. And that would allow me to go ahead and apply for the local small business certification program. You will be required to provide tax returns for those 3 years stated in the registration process, inclusive of a copy of a business lease, unless you're a home-based business and there are supporting documentations that are outlined in the registration manual. And your last quarterly unemployment insurance statement filed with the state of Maryland. Those are the required documentation for the local small business reserve program. For the local business program, financial information is not required. So the size of a business is irrelevant. You will have to show that you are actually located in Montgomery County only. So you will need to be required to provide a copy of your current lease. So for the, you can click apply. And this is just a general description of acknowledgements of the certification process. And you will be required just to read and select each and every one, stating that you will provide documentation. You're allowing the procurement to review information with State Department of Labor licensing regulation, and everything that is true fact. You need to provide a list of all the owners. If you're the only one, that's pretty simple. Then your electronic signature. Select, and so this electronic signature here will serve as a formal signature. Click next. And here we go. This is basically the requirement of the information that will be required. You do not have to provide at this stage. It will be requested by the auditor, but unfulfilled or unsupplied documentation will disqualify your application with the LSBRP if not supplied within 30 days. It does not disqualify you from the program. It disqualifies your current application. You will have to go back in and complete a new application at that point if you have been disqualified for not supplying the verification information. As you see, is the first page of your last 3 tax returns. A copy of the lease that's located, shows that your business is located within Montgomery County. State Maryland employer unemployment insurance contribution. So these are quarterly statements. So just your most previous statement. Click continue. And as you will see, your local small business reserve program, you can come back in and have documents, but your application is currently pending. And that will stay a pending status until all of the supporting documentation has been received and verified. We can come back in, and as a minority-owned business, you can kind of go through and say you are certified with any of these agencies, minority, female, disabled with MDOT, minority, female with the Minority and Women's Business Opportunities Office. If you are, let's go ahead and say we're a minority with MDOT, owned, provide documentation, you upload the copy of your current certificate with MDOT, and you add your certificate number and your expiration date. We realize that MDOT is somewhat open expiration dates or certifications somewhat are ambiguous to the actual expiration date, but we do actively check the database of MDOT to ensure that your status is current. So you just click update. This is just another notification that you are supplying the information that you're required to supply the information from that certification certifying agency. And if you have questions, you can contact the program manager within Montgomery County, Mr. Boss. Okay, we're back to the landing page of your certification, the vendor self-service page. You kind of just review the information to ensure it for completeness and accuracy. If you want to come back in to add additional product or service codes, click over on change, do your lookup again, same idea as previous. The system will accommodate up to 100 commodity codes. So if you want to come in and select additional ones, and for solicitation notification purposes with these participating agencies, you would want to add as many as many product codes that pertains to your business as possible. You do not want to be overlooked. They will automatically populate. Click update. Once you believe your information is correct, you just click continue to continue for the registration page. Here you will see the participating agencies: Montgomery County, City of Rockville Housing Opportunities Commissions, Montgomery College, and Montgomery County Public Schools. At a minimum, you would probably want to participate with Montgomery County. This is just another notification that Montgomery County does an IRS 10 match. So ensure that your legal name matches the taxpayer ID. If it does not match, you will receive a notification from the Department of Finance, Accounts Payable. Here's your contact information for them, stating that the IRS does not recognize the legal name and taxpayer ID matching. So it will be your responsibility to correct that, or you will not be accepted into the Montgomery County system. They will request an updated W-9 or a current W-9. And if you fail the 10 match, they may request a copy of your IRS SS-4 form as assigned to you by the IRS, stating your company's legal name and taxpayer ID. Come through, hit complete. On the last page, you have an opportunity to print a copy of your registration details for the CVRS, a printer-friendly copy of your LSBRP application, and or complete the ACH method of payment with Department of Finance. Please note that the CVRS does not accept, store, nor process financial information. By clicking here, you will be redirected, and the form is actually automatically sent. It is a smart form. If it populates, that is completed directly with accounts payable. So if you come in here and you provide all this documentation, you click submit, that will go directly to accounts payable. Once complete, click done, and it would go back to the log on page. You will receive an email stating your registration is complete. It will provide you with your login credentials into the CVRS. It will have some vital contact information for the help desk and for Montgomery County Accounts Payable. If you registered with the LSBRP or the MFD programs, it will have important information regarding documentation that may be required going forward. And you may receive additional communication from any of those auditors in review of those certifications. So please ensure your contact information is current and correct. So that is the registration process. So if there are any questions, if there's something you would rather me review, please let me know. And we'll say that is the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much, Brian. Does anyone have any questions?
Brian, we sometimes get vendors asking they already have a profile in the CVRS and they need to go back and then either update their business classification or update other information. So if you can go through that a little bit, especially where they can find where they can update their information on LSBRP and MFD, that would be helpful.
Okay, let's see. I don't have, bear with me 1 second. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Let me pull up the login credentials for the new registration I created. Okay. Give me 1 second.
And meanwhile, for the participants, if you have any question, you can type your question in the chat box.
Okay, do you guys see my screen again?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the login page. So if you come to back to the website, click log on, it'll be your vendor ID and VIN. So if you have the information, so this was just supplied to me. Okay, so any of the login credentials provided by the help desk, if you request new login credentials, your vendor ID remains the same throughout the registration process and through the life of your current registration with the CVRS. Your VIN will be a temporary. So if you called the help desk requesting that information, you will only receive a temporary. So upon your initial login, you'll be requested to reset it. So we go in, reset this information, change. So now we're back in our registration. So number of ways you can retrieve your login credentials. You can retrieve it from the landing page. Like I said before, you will need the legal name and taxpayer ID. You can reach out to customer service, and you can either do it via phone or email. Any of those ways will provide you with the login credentials. So if you come back in and you needed to change information, as you see, the information here is all listed. If I wanted to come in and upload a W-9 for supporting documentation, you go in, you just browse your files, then you upload. Yeah, like that function. So, or if we wanted to come in to update our business classification information, or upload documentation. So once you're back in here, just note just how it's out, how this is all laid out. It's your basic company information. This should never or rarely change in the future. Addresses and contacts may change. If you change address, contact information, someone new within your organization is taking over this portion of the business where they are going to be the primary contact. So you would come in here, you can change the address, you can add a new contact, or you can change a contact. So you can have as many additional contacts if you want. That's completely up to you. Or you come back in to change your business classification. So this information will be required to be update annually for MFDs and for the local business programs every couple years. So if you come back in here, change class, if we wanted to review our application or submit documentation, this will be required within the process. Come in, you want to upload a business license, tax returns, lease, or your unemployment quarterly statement. You can do that here. Or just update any of that information that's through that process. As you'll notice that the MFD status is pending review with the certifying agency. Say I didn't have my certificate number for this when I initially registered, I would come back in, add an expiration date, and click update. You get the same notification about certifications, about supplying the certificate, and how you can actually get those to us. Update. And that's basically it. You just kind of come in and you have access to the system 24/7. So it's at your convenience. The help desk does have limited hours, but the CVRS is always up and available. So once you've completed that, ensure that you complete to commit all changes. So any changes that has been completed will not be synchronized with Montgomery County or any of the other participating agencies until they have been completed. So ensure that you hit the continue button and you hit the complete button, or if you want to add additional agencies, hit complete. Again, you get updated information. This is where you can find your ACH form if you want to come back in to do the ACH, and ensure that you have committed any and all of those changes. I know that's a pretty rough review of how to log back in and address those things, but it's a pretty simple process, and there's always support available through the help desk if there are questions or concerns. Grace?
Thank you, Brian. Does anyone else have any questions? If you have any questions, you can either unmute yourself or you can put the question in the chat box.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
It's very faint.
I'm sorry about that. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Hi, good morning. My quick question is about qualifying for the local and small business reserve. When you go into that classification and put in the information, it has two options to check: apply for local and apply for small. If you're a business that started recently, it asks for 2020 revenue, but if you started in 2021, by definition, you'd be small. But it doesn't allow you to put in revenue for this year. It asks for 2020. So it doesn't allow a new business to enter as a small business, because the question is about 2020 revenue. How do we get past that? If your revenue is in 2021 and you started in 2020, but if the algorithm that's built into CVRS is to look for 2020 revenue as a qualifier. A new business starting in 2021 doesn't qualify.
Yeah, I think I can answer that. This is Michael Brown. I manage the local business programs. If you are a new business, so you're saying you started in 2020 and there was no revenue generated?
Right, until 2021.
Okay. Yeah, you can. I mean, really, when we're asking for the revenue, we're really making sure that you're not above the threshold. So it's not a point of you needing to show that some revenue was generated. You could, put just a ballpark figure, in there. And those are just ballpark figures that we're asking for on the application because, like Brian said, there is a follow-up where we're going to actually, want a copy of the federal taxes, just the first page to confirm what you did put on the application. So, I mean, if you are a new business and like you said, you started in 2020 and you're filling out the application now in 2021, you could, just for application purposes, you can just put 0 for 2020 and a projected figure of what you feel you're going to make in 2021, and that will get you through the initial application process, I believe.
All right, well, maybe we should talk about it offline because I just literally did this while this webinar was going on. And
okay,
putting 0 for 2020, it doesn't allow you to qualify as small.
Okay, definitely. I'll put my contact information in the chat and you can follow up with me later. I'll definitely walk you through.
Okay, check your email. I already sent you an email. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, cool.
Do we have any more questions from anyone in the audience?
This is Valerie. I have one more question. Is this a push system, meaning that all of the agencies that you request to be connected with push out opportunities based on the code that you put in?
I can probably answer. Can you hear me, Valerie?
Yes.
No, this system is not a push system. I think is what you're, based on what your question, the participating agencies will actually do an active search within the database of the CVRS for vendors that match those procurement criteria. And they will just use that distribution list to notify those vendors, so that this system itself does not push out the notifications.
So they're doing that based on the code that you put in for products and services, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's what we say, tell vendors to be general and maximize the ones even loosely, just to ensure that you are included on those opportunities.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Do we have any more questions about Brian's presentation or the local small business reserve program or any of our programs?
Okay, this is Valerie with one more question since nobody's jumping in. Will this be available in multiple languages? This presentation and the walkthrough, will it have closed captions or be translated in any way? Have access?
Valerie, honestly, we just had a conference call last week with the Department of Finance, and we're actually integrating Google Translate into the portal, where it'll be translated automatically into a number of languages. That should be probably implemented in the next month.
And will it be in a hard copy format as well for those who don't have technology somewhere?
That is controlled by the Department of Finance or any of the other participating departments within or agencies. Like if you're working with Health and Human Services, they do hard copies because a lot of their participation of individuals may not have access to the necessary technology, or they'll go into the office there at HHS, or even with Office of Procurement. That's happened in the past. The CVRS does not currently have a hard copy, but the departments know what information is to be collected, and they just disseminate that back to the CVRS, and we would manually register those vendors ourselves.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Does anyone else have any questions for Brian or for anyone in our staff? Brian, I'm gonna, I guess you can stop sharing your screen and
Okay.
no one else has any questions. I just want to open it up and see if there's anybody with any additional questions that we can help with today.
I see quite a few participants have no longer has access to the chat, which I've never seen before. I don't know if these people were trying to type in questions and they could not type in something. Could somebody try to ask a question in the chat, and if it doesn't work, let us know that you are having problem with that?
Maybe somebody outside of our organization.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so Val Davis has a question. There is a legislative proposal for centralized procurement system for the county. Can you speak about that?
I'm not aware of this centralized procurement system. We are currently, the procurement department office is the centralized office for the county. I don't know if you are referring something about an electronic system that we are looking at, trying to replace our paper system where vendors used to have to submit paper proposals to us. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we have been looking through some options to make all these submissions digital. And we have piloted some of our solicitations to accept digital proposals or bids, but that's not implemented yet. But I'm not aware of relates to grants. I'm not aware. I'll have to take a look at that. If it's grants, usually it doesn't qualify as a procurement, but if you're talking a grant that will change the procurement system, which currently I'm not aware of.
Okay. I want to give an opportunity to any of the vendors who have not had a chance to introduce themselves. So if you would like to introduce yourself and say your name and your company name and just a little bit about what you do, because we have 6 minutes left in our open house. So any vendors who would like to introduce themselves can speak now. Thank you.
Oh,
Hi,
okay.
Manny.
I'm sorry. I just read this press release and let me explain that a little bit. So the bill was 3619, which was in 2019. And this was related to a office within the Office of Finance, which manages the grants. So they will be doing the grant management, enforcement, implementation, and verification and all that. So it's not related to procurement. And I believe that office is already established. And there are at least 3 or 4 employees in that office that they are finance grants compliance managers. So I don't know your question, Valerie, if your question is you want to get some contact from that office, you can reach out to us. We'll send you some contact information. That's all. Whoever that wanted to speak, please do. Sorry.
Not a problem at all. I was going to say my name is Charlie Steele. I'm with Corcom Partners from Montgomery County, Maryland, and we help businesses and organizations save money and find better solutions for their electric and gas, as well as internet and phone services.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to introduce themselves? If not, I will, oh, Manny, yes?
Oh, yeah. Hi, good morning. So thank you. So my company is Impact CIO Services. We provide preventive IT service, right? So, you know, basically continuity of operation. What happens if your office burns down? What happens if you get hit by ransomware? How do you plan? First of all, how do you prevent it? And how do you keep your business going if you get hit on a Monday and you need to be up on Tuesday morning? How do we help you make sure that that happens? So it's not IT support per se, where they kick in kind of afterwards. This is preventative. So, and then also with all the hype, well, I shouldn't say hype because it's not unnecessary. The higher awareness of ransomware lately, helping you put in best practices with your employees to help prevent that.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hey, Bethany, this is Michael. I just wanted to also point out and promote our newsletter. It's already on our main page, Montgomery County MD/pro. You know, if you are new to doing business with Montgomery County, I would definitely suggest that you sign up for the newsletter just to stay in the here and now of what's going on with the Office of Procurement. And another benefit of that, if you are registered as a local small business, you may also want to get the newsletter that's specific to local small businesses, because you will get a copy of all the LSBRP opportunities that go out. So it's just a way to, you know, make sure that you aren't missing out on any possible opportunities that, you know, may be advertised on our website for local small businesses.
And there is a question regarding matching subs with primes. Yes, we do. Our minority business program does help subs to get connection with primes and vice versa. We use CVRS to do a vendor search. So sometimes we do direct primes to go on to CVRS and look for minority subs with certain commodity codes. But there are also times if we have a big project and we know there are a lot of minority subcontracting opportunities out there, our office would do a matchmaking event, inviting the prime and any possible subs to come and meet with each other, make connections. You can also contact Alvin Boss, who is our minority program specialist, and he will be helping you to make the connection. Another good way to make connection is to come to our pre-bid conferences, where before a solicitation closes, the whoever that come to this pre-bid conference, not only you can get information about this solicitation, also you will meet whoever that's in that room. There are people who maybe you can connect to.
Oh, Grace, you're muted.
This whole time?
No, just the last second or so.
Oh, really? Why did it do it by itself? Okay, yeah, so the pre-bid conference, is that where I stopped?
Mhm.
Okay, so the pre-bid conference would be another good avenue for you to come and meet with potential primes or other potential partners who are also interested in a particular solicitation.
Thank you, Grace. Well, it is 11:01, so we are going to conclude our open house. Thank you to Brian Hill for being our presenter today and our guest speaker. And thank you to the Office of Procurement staff for attending today. Our next open house, online open house, will be on Wednesday, July 21st from 10 to 11 a.m. And we will post the link to that on our website. Thank you for joining us and have a wonderful day.